I used to think friends were the people who stood by you through thick and thin, the ones you could call anytime, who had your back no matter what, and love you for who you are. I envy people who were always surrounded by friends. I wanted that too. But the truth is, I don't have any. And I guess that's okay. I'm someone who deeply craves human connection. So when I try to make friends, I offer them my whole heart. But more often than not, people either stab it or throw it away. Rarely does anyone offer theirs in return. Of course, this is just my own experience, a sample size of n equals to 1. Maybe there are genuine people out there I haven't met, but I've never gotten used to how friendships work in Singapore. It often feels transactional. If you have something people want, status, connections, knowledge, or just the right vibe, they will keep you around. But once you lose that value, you become disposable. So to feel valued, I tried to become someone with the right vibe, because if I didn't, I would end up as the outcast. Maybe I had some natural talent at it. I always managed to find a clique during my school years, and people seemed to like someone who gave their heart freely. I had a few friendships that felt real, ones I thought would last forever. But eventually, I lost whatever value they saw in me, and I was left behind. But I still loved people. I still tried to make friends. I tried to become more sociable, more likable, and someone people liked to have around. I wanted real friends, so I opened my heart, despite getting rejected again and again. But friendship breakups were emotional and hard. Eventually, 3 years ago, I decided to cut off most of my friends. That was when I tore my ACL, and at the same time, I was struggling with a toxic research assistant job with a terrible boss and terrible lab environment. Recovery was physically tough, but mentally, it was worse. I was at my lowest. There were days I genuinely wondered if I would ever get back up. And that was when I felt it, the moment I lost all value. No one checked in. No one came to see how I was doing, even though I was posting dark and emotional things on Instagram. I had made the effort before, traveling across Singapore just to meet some of them. But when it was my turn, no one came. Everyone was busy with their own lives, even the ones I once supported when they were at their worst. That was when I started to really hate people. Quietly, I unfriended many of them, deleted them from my Instagram followers, stopped arranging meetups, and stopped reaching out. I chose to let go. But there were still a few, 3 or maybe 4 people who came to find me, and those are the ones I chose to keep, the only ones I still initiate meetups with today. And since then, life has been quieter, more peaceful and less emotional. I remember reading somewhere that most negative emotions come from human relationships, and I think that's true. Looking back, the worst of my emotions came from people. When friends dropped me, betrayed me, replaced me with other friends or their boyfriends. When they didn't treat me the way I treated them. I used to take it personally, wondering what I did wrong, what I could have done better. But over time, I realized it wasn't always about me. Some people just leave. Some only stay when things are easy. And some never really cared to begin with. The more I tried to hold on, the more it hurt. And the silence that followed felt like peace. I'm definitely less of an emotional mess now, ever since I cut the fake and toxic friends out of my life. I used to think life would be lonely without friends around. But now I realize it's really okay. Because the truth is, I have felt lonely even in a crowd. I used to try so hard to fit in, to become someone I wasn't, just to belong in certain friend groups. And for a while, I thought the problem was me, but it wasn't. They just weren't the right people. When I moved on to my next research assistant job and met people who shared the same values and mindset, fitting in suddenly felt effortless. For once, I didn't have to shrink myself to be accepted. But even then, people come and go. I truly enjoyed the company I had that year. It was one of the rare times I felt like I belonged. But when I transitioned into my current lab to start my part-time PhD, things changed. We still keep in touch here and there, but the connection isn't quite the same anymore. I do miss those days, but people move on. And sometimes that's just how life works. In my new lab, it was harder to fit in, and for a while, I thought about changing myself again just to be accepted. But I stopped. There was nothing wrong with me. They just weren't the right people, and I should just be myself. I have started learning how to do things alone, and it's not that bad. Sometimes it's even therapeutic. I love exercising alone, eating alone, and reflecting alone. There is a certain peace in doing things for yourself and by yourself. I have stopped expecting people to be there for me, because when you stop expecting, you stop getting hurt. And even the smallest gesture starts to feel like a gift. I'm not saying I have stopped talking to people or closed myself off from the world. I still make new friends, just not by chasing, not by trying to fit in. When the right people come, they come. I keep my heart open so that when genuine connections happen, I'm ready. And many of you here have reminded me of that. I never thought anyone would watch my videos, let alone relate to them or even reach out. But your kind comments and support have truly surprised me, and I'm deeply grateful. I may not have friends who fit the definition I used to believe in. Those who stay through thick and thin, who you can call anytime, who love you simply for who you are. In reality, people come and go. We live our own lives. We are all a little self-centered in our own ways. Or maybe I just haven't met the right people yet. I don't know. But I think my best friend might just be myself. The older we get, the more time we spend alone. And that's not always a bad thing. Because at the end of the day, we come into this world alone, and we leave it the same way. So, that's okay.